After Caitlin Clark's alleged stalker was arrested, Jemele Hill tried to quietly delete the post, but the internet never forgets. It's so easy to beat up on Jemele. She makes it so easy. You know, Angel Reese gets a lot of heat and a lot of negative stuff because she puts a lot of negative heat and energy out there.
Jason Whitlock goes off on Jemele Hill for hating on Caitlin Clark. I want you to hear exactly what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
I love this. Jemele Hill got busted, Steve. She got exposed once again. It looks like in September, Jemele sent a lengthy tweet saying Caitlin Clark doesn't get the same hate as black women in the WNBA. After Caitlin Clark's alleged stalker was arrested, Jemele Hill tried to quietly delete the post, but the internet never forgets. Let's read Jemele Hill's deleted tweet on Caitlin Clark. I'll do my best voice here, even though it always tends to be the same voice for everybody.
Yeah.
Impersonation time.
I don't like to play the oppression Olympics, but has CC had to delete her social media accounts? No. But her teammate Alea Boston did. CC has given out a few hard shots herself, talked trash, jawed with the refs, and yet anytime she is subjected to physical play, a hard foul or trash talk, opposing players are absolutely villainized. She is not constantly subjected to racial slurs and whatever hate she does experience. She is not told to toughen up or that her feelings don't matter. She is not subjected to both sidesisms, nor are people trying to justify any hatred against her. That's the difference. That's Jemele Hill.
Jemele Hill, a lot of people at ESPN, they've been hating on Caitlin Clark for a while now. Every time that she does something good, they try to compare and contrast Angel Reese. Then they bring the racial component into it. Just a lot of hating going on. Jemele knows what she's doing, then tries to delete it after posting it a while ago. Terrible look.
She's tried to delete that tweet, Steve. The internet discovered it. And look, CC, someone got arrested for stalking her and, you know, making all kinds of, it's not quite, remember when Kennedy Carter and Angel Reese said, oh my God, they tried to assassinate us outside our bus, and the video dropped, and it was some guy that asked a simple question and, you know, was like 10 feet away walking behind them. It's like, that was the assassination attempt? Anyway, your thoughts on Jemele Hill getting cold busted here?
Yeah, that wasn't exactly JFK in Dallas, that assassination attempt. Just on that tweet that Miss Hill wrote, she doesn't play in the victim Olympics? Are you kidding me? She's won more gold medals than Carl Lewis and Michael Phelps. She's the greatest of all time at it.
The Simone Biles of the oppression Olympics.
You know what? That's a better one. That's a better one. Here, and by the way, the biggest story was, because I saw videotape of that guy in handcuffs. I just want to let our audience know that was not Jason Whitlock who was stalking Caitlin Clark. We just want to make that very clear. Sure. That was the biggest takeaway that I had from watching that footage. But I don't understand why ever delete their tweets. Do they not realize, and I've gone through this, everyone will basically screenshot stuff that you say and just keep it in that folder.
The post and delete thing now in 2025 and even over the last few years, if you have something on your Twitter page or Instagram or whatever, if you're a public figure, more than a couple hundred people know about you, people are going to have those tweets. They're going to have those screenshots. Again, by Jemele Hill trying to delete it just because of the whole Caitlin Clark stalker situation. Just shows that she's been faking this whole time. She knows that she doesn't like Caitlin Clark and doesn't want to catch that backlash.
They'll keep it in the drafts forever. They have that thing holstered like Wyatt Earp. So if you're just going to say it, you just might as well just have it put up there. In fact, put it in a frame like it's at the walls of the Smithsonian. There's no walking it back. You might as well just live up to it. I think her argument would be, though, that, well, that wasn't a racial incident. But then again, I ask, well, if it wasn't, then why did you take down the tweet?
Exactly. She need to answer that.
Yeah. It's so easy to beat up on Jemele. She makes it so easy.
Poor girl.
And there's many of us like me that are, you know, we're over our
Well, you're blocked
unconditional
anyway.
love of CC. Yeah, well, I know that, but
you're blocked
I'm
by
over my
Jemele, let's be
unconditional
honest.
love. Yeah. Well, but now you can see block people's tweets, so I can
that's
see whatever
true.
she's putting out. I just can't
Thanks,
comment
Elon.
on it. But a lot of us are like, hey, man, we're not even playing the oppression Olympics anymore with Caitlin Clark, because Caitlin Clark said, hey, I like playing in the oppression Olympics, and, I've got white privilege, and so I'm not oppressed, and, we just got to do everything we can to celebrate Jemele Hill and Angel Reese, and that's what I'm here for, to celebrate and elevate them. And
Caitlin Clark, she folded. She should have just stayed quiet, let the people talk. But, she had to pander. She wants to get to that next level. I get it. Then you got all the hate in her direction just because she's playing good. And then again, when you try to compare and contrast Angel Reese, whatever Caitlin Clark does, they always throw in Angel Reese and the Rookie of the Year award and then the Olympics and all that crazy stuff. So Caitlin Clark, she had to do what she had to do. I don't blame her, but she did fold under that media pressure.
So I'm like, okay, good. Okay, CC. We'll leave you to that group. And, and not that I'm not sympathetic. No one should have stalkers, and women have to deal with that.
Of course not.
And I'm sympathetic. But this whole thing of trying to evaluate what woman on social media receives the most vicious tweets, I'm just, miss me with all of it. I mean, just, and I know I do feel somewhat sorry for the women, but my God, read my Twitter mentions and read, read the stories that have been written about me that are just fabrications and lies. And
they've been trashing Whitlock for a while now, so he's used to it. But again, when you got people like a Caitlin Clark, again, she just wants to ball out and play basketball. But again, with the media pressure and just she has to pander, people fold, especially when you're a public figure like a Caitlin Clark that wants to get to that next level of celebrity, that wants to try to get as much money as she can outside of basketball. Certain things you got to align yourself with. But again, a lot of people been hating on Jason Whitlock, and he's standing on business, and he's not folding under pressure.
All that kind of stuff. So I just don't feel a lot of sympathy for any of it. This is what you're a public figure. This is what goes along with it. Most of it is hot garbage. Don't live your life spent in fear. And I know that it's easier for me to say. One, I'm older. I'm obviously larger. One, I own guns. And maybe these women don't. But this is what goes along with being a public figure right now. It's sad. We all go through it, and everybody does need to toughen up. Not that I'm saying that to CC, but it's just like when these women, whatever these angry text messages or email or tweets these ladies are getting in the WNBA, I guarantee you, the ladies that don't try to push. So, Angel Reese gets a lot of heat and a lot of negative stuff because she puts a lot of negative heat and energy out there.
Yes, she definitely does. And then when she puts on these two-piece outfits, showing everything, and then cries about being sexualized, that's the part that I don't like. Yeah, I know you're young. You're in a day and age of social media. I get it. But you're putting all that content out there, and people are going to comment about it. But yet you want to be in your feelings and delete social media every other month. So Angel Reese, man, you got to look in the mirror and see what you're doing out there. See how you're moving on social media.
That's one of the reasons I don't complain. I criticize people, so people criticize me back. That's right. That's the price of tea in China.
Part of the game.
If you can take it, and here's the reality, though, with Caitlin Clark. Above and beyond any other player in that particular league, she can walk down Main Street, USA, and there would actually be people that would know who she is specifically. I'm not so sure any other player in the WNBA has that dynamic. So, and again, there's a difference between being physically stalked and having someone troll your Twitter timeline. I think I've told you this, though, Jason. My view is now this. I don't block people. I am no longer the Dikembe Mutombo or Anthony Munoz of Twitter. I now mute people. Even with the new block now essentially not being a block button, I like the fact that people that disagree with me cannot stand what I say. You know what? Good. I want you to hear my message because you care enough to go on my timeline. And guess what? With the mute button, I never have to hear from you. That's a very fair trade as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the mute button's cool, blocking people, but I try to stay away from that unless it's spam. You know, they got a lot of spam bots out there on social media. Other than that, I let people talk how they gonna talk. As long as you ain't doing nothing crazy or saying anything insane, go ahead and rock out. It is what it is. That's social media.
I got a different philosophy, and I'm a little reluctant to admit it, but in the interest of transparency, I'm going to admit it. I like the block button because people can see, they can still see my tweets. What I don't want them doing is spamming my mentions with garbage, with all these ridiculous comments about me or accusations about me. And I don't like false engagement, people that are just trolling. And so I hit the block. They can read my tweets. They can't leave a comment because what a lot of these rigged up comments and rigged up Twitter lynch mobs are so the media can then say, the New York Times, Washington Post writers, people, the Daily Beast, whoever these blogs are that still write about this kind of stuff, can then go to your Twitter mention and say, oh God, and Whitlock got trashed by this person or that person. And here's this anonymous bot's tweet trashing Whitlock and calling him this or saying this. That's what I'm trying to eliminate. I don't mind criticism. I want people to see that people disagree with me or whatever. But when I think it's just some kind of disingenuous spam troll job, I just don't want it on my timeline and mentions. I don't want people to think that's a reflection of how people actually engage with me because I don't think it's authentic. Now, do people vehemently disagree with me and think, man, Whitlock, you got it in for Deion Sanders? More than happy to let people post that stuff all the time.
But yeah, in conclusion, Jemele Hill, she's a hater. She's been hating on Caitlin Clark for a while now. And again, the whole Angel Reese component, best of luck to her. Angel Reese, you put stuff out there on social media, people are going to comment about it. So if you want to wear a bikini and twerk and all that, and then people make comments and then you get mad and sad and delete social media, it is what it is, man. Social media is what you make it. So you create the world that you want to really live in as far as social media. Just analyze the content that you're putting out there, and it is what it is. But again, man, Jemele Hill, stop hating on Caitlin Clark.